Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razek at CMTrading. Today is November 21st, 2018, and today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the economic events of the day, just one event really that's memorable to discuss, core durable good orders coming out of the United States. That's going to be at 3:30 South African time, 1:30 London time. Just remember, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Tomorrow is Thursday, November 22nd, and then the day after Thanksgiving is when the markets open, but I do expect it to be quite light, especially today, all right? So just looking at the Forex symbols, US dollar is stronger across the board, mainly because the Dow has been selling off. Now the Dow continues to falter and is on lower support at 24,500. We'll take a look at that. Cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin finally bounces, and we take a look to see, possibly where it can go. Okay, because we're really in uncharted territory right here. Now, in terms of the stocks, Apple breaks out even lower to 176. Remember, just a month ago, we were trading at $232. That's over a $50 retracement for Apple, while Facebook and Amazon bounce. So we're getting a little bit of a mixed bag with the FANG, and it's official. We are in a bear market right now, so just be aware of it. So let's see what we can anticipate from today's trading.
This conference will now be recorded.
So we're starting with the Euro USD, and yesterday we hit a little bit of a snag at 114.55, a previous resistance level and previous support level. So this we sold off yesterday from 114.45 down to 113.84. Not a big retracement, but enough to call it a retracement. Okay, now I do believe that we'll be trading within this range. 14.55 was the higher part of it. Okay, that was your impetus to really break once we broke this 14.45-ish on the downside. And then the bottom side of it, I see it being around 113.33-ish. Okay, so we do still have a little bit of, somewhere to go on the way down. Now, if we jump into the GBP USD, we see that it's gotten much weaker versus the dollar. Let's take a look. We're looking at a daily right here, and you can see it's really flirting with our 127-ish support level. Okay, really big technical here. So if we do fall out of bed, we could definitely see it back into the lower 123, 124-ish level as we continue to trade there. So it's really testing those lows. So just keep an eye on this later today, especially if it does break down for a possible continued sell-off in the GBP. Now looking at the Aussie dollar, also sold off yesterday. So this finally was the one that sold off, and it brought down everything against the dollar. Now jumping lastly into the USD CAD, we're at close to the all-time highs on the CAD, 133. And as we've slowly come from 127 up to 133, we look like we're going to break it out. So just keep aware of it. The dollar is getting stronger. And again, mostly because the Dow Jones has been selling off. So, if the Dow just jumps later today, then we do see maybe a retracement for all these symbols versus the US dollar. Now, jumping into the Dow, we sold off 500 plus points yesterday. Okay, so from the beginning of last week, okay, to just about now, we've sold off close to 1,500 points. Now we're still, what I call in a bullish area, because if we look at a weekly chart, okay, we are retracing and we are trading in a new range. Okay, but we're not downwards trending. We're not selling off to 21,000, 22,000. Now that may be the case after New Year's. We'll see if that actually fruites, but for right now, okay, we do expect some sort of a bounce, especially between, like I said, Thanksgiving and New Year's. But just be aware, the markets are closed half a day today, and on Friday they'll be closed half a day. So it's a little bit of light trading going into the weekend and then going into next week. Now the real major play right here yesterday was Apple. Apple gapped down and continued to sell off quite sharply to 176. Now around this area, I would expect it also to bounce. Okay, we had previous resistance around this area. There was a little bit of resistance at 192, possibly a support level there. We breached it, 184, and we breached it. And now we're subsequently at this 176. So, ultimately looking technically, this is a little bit of a minor support right here. So, to see it actually bounce off of this is not unnatural. Okay, this is due for a bounce and due for short coverings, and I do believe that we'll get that. Now, looking at Facebook and Amazon, this kind of closed off yesterday. Okay, it kind of got factored in 132 and didn't, capitulate it down to 127 and then bounced right off of it. So just be aware of that. Okay, now we're looking at some of the European markets and they're opening up, so just be aware that we might get that final bounce, that final push up as we go into the holiday season. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, We finally bounced yesterday. Okay, now we capitulated down below 5,000, and I think that that's going to be a resistance level as we close into that. We're at 4,500 right now, but this still has a lot way to go down. Okay, looking technically, it doesn't look pretty. Okay, just because we've bounced a little bit doesn't mean that it won't further decline, especially because we have so much more room for a decline. Okay, now people keep on giving to the why is this selling off, and mostly because the markets are selling off, and this happens to be one of the more riskier kind of investments that people can take, and those are usually the ones that sell off most aggressively. So that being the case, just be aware, if we continue to sell off in the greater, the larger part of the markets, in the Dow, etc., we'll see a further decline in this as well. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.